So you can't really talk about Cyberpunk without talking about Blade Runner. And Blade Runner features a load of like film noir sets, classic film noir sets, including this, which is actually the Bradby building. And we've got in here we've got a lot of sort of Art Deco, Art Nouveau style architecture, which features a lot throughout these kind of movies. So now this is really intense floor work, and I don't have time to do it in 5 minutes. But I'm going to try some other work which you can see on my Pinterest board, and maybe we'll just start with something really simple with this, and then we can work up to some of these other features later. A really useful tool for doing this kind of metalwork is the Spline tool. So let's start off with that. So I'm going to make a circle, and you can see I've been doing stuff with this. So normally you start off like this, just a line, but you can give it thickness by using these two buttons, enable and render, enable in viewport. You can also set it to be rectangular, which is useful. So and that's a great place to start off these kinds of designs. So let's have that guy, and if I Control V, I can make a copy of it, and we're going to make it 0.2 meters wide. Just check that radius is exactly 0.1. So because we've got this very regular design, I'm going to be careful about my measurements. So this guy is going to be, I want it to be perfectly over here, which is I think 0.3 meters. Here we have. But rather than do it like that, I'm going to do Control V to clone, make a copy, right click up here, and then I'm going to offset it on the screen 0.3 meters like that, which is cool. Now I can take all these guys and drag them down, copy that, and I can take this guy and I can align that to the pivot point of the other object, and that's the basis of the pattern. So let's click at this guy, come back, there we go. So that is the basis of our pattern. You can see we have, that's the layout, so we're going to get rid of all the stuff we don't need now. So let's turn that into an editable spline, and we can attach that guy, oops, come back, that guy and that guy, and we'll leave these for the moment and leave these other shapes. So now we can go, we don't need a lot of this, whoops, yeah, and we don't need that, and we don't need that, and we don't need that. And now I can select vertex mode and we can connect. So click down and drag and let go, click down and drag and let go, like that. It's not refreshed, so but if we just cycle it, it'll come back again. And now we can add in these other guys as well, so let's attach that and that, and get rid of the extra segments we don't need, which is that, and that, and that. So usefully our pivot point is here, and that's cool because we're about to mirror it across the pivot point. So I am going to come out of sub-object mode and do Control V again to copy, and then I can go into sub-object mode and use the mirror tool, which is down here. So that's the mirror axis. So if I mirror it like that, you can see it all goes a bit wonky, but if I do mirror about pivot, we get that. And then I can attach it all together again, so let's attach that lot. And lastly, we just need to weld, so you can see there's a split in these vertices here, so let's just weld it together. So go into vertex mode, select those guys and weld, so go those guys and weld, and that and weld. So that is possibly a little big, have a look. So let's create a box. Do that and I'll align it. So I need to make like the banister and the horizontal features, and because I'm gonna turn this into a sort of like a module, I want to have like hide the seams really without actually having to weld them all together. So what I want to do now is just get that right on that line, and I can do that by going align, and I can take the current object's pivot point and align it to the minimum of the other object, or the maximum, we'll stick it over there, and then I can get rid of the axes I don't need. So that's now aligned perfectly with the points on there. Okay, and I probably could have eyeballed it for the sake of it, but let's now turn that into something like that. I won't need these guys, so let's delete them. And then there's some sort of crossbeam across the bottom and effect across the top. So let's do that. So again, I'm going to do this cheaply. So I think actually what I want to do is create another box, because I want it to be the exact length. So let's align that to that guy. Pivot points. And then I can rotate it. And I want that. It's all going to be hidden anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But this is going to be 0.6 meters long. And you can see that's good now. So let's turn it into edit poly again. Get rid of the bits I don't need. Wait a minute, we can do this as well. Let's just drag this up here. I'll need that later. Okay, so now this guy. Delete those two end polys, and then we'll just make it the right shape. Oops. I'm just tucking it into that object there so I don't get any Z fighting in the future. And I've kept this object because I want to shape it into a bit of a banister, so let's do that now. So I'm simply going to use the Swift Loop tool to drop some slices in, like that. Missed. And then I can use the scale tool to help me out. Really useful, like, to use your shortcuts when you're doing modeling, so don't fail to learn those. And they're actually the same once you've learned that WE and R. They're kind of the same across multiple packages, so it's time well spent. That's a bit fat, maybe. And a bit high. Probably needs to be down there. Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to give it a bit of air. Probably need to give this guy a bit of air at the bottom as well. Something like that. But I think that'll do. just let's tidy up some of these smoothing groups first. So select that lot and grow, clear all one. I'm going to get rid of those end polys I think now. So selecting everything and then deselecting is quick on that. So now I can just delete those two end polys. And I can select that guy and set it to 2. That guy select it to 2. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's all smooth appropriately. I don't feel like it needs much more. I can fuss over you can fuss over these things forever. So but I think we'll just get the general scale right. And if I want to go and add more detail, I can do it later. Because it's only meant to be a rough prop, just to get me in the right ballpark. There we go. Okay, so and now I can attach that and that. Give it a material. Take that one. So because I've set a length for this, I can use the array tool to help me out. So you can get to the array tool in here, array, or if you right click up here you can add these extras, which will give you this little flyout. So we've got the array tool button, so let's use that. So it's good to make these instances, and yeah, there's a preview tool. So like, because I've been working on this, you can see I've already set the distance, but there's a incremental offset, so each of these is stepping through 0.6 meters, which is why that works. And there's a total, so we got 10, which gives us a total of 6 meters. So we can OK that, and that's my reeling.